Zapraszam tutaj do stołu prezydialnego panią dr Ingę Strungytė-Liugienę, reprezentującej Instytut Języka Litewskiego, która wygłosi referat in which Gdańsk printing house was the first Lithuanian Moravian Herrnhutian treatise Stebuklingo Meile warginga Griekininko, dobrze wymawiam?
Dobrze.
Printed in 1752 rok. Zapraszam.
Thank you very much. At first, I would like to say thank you for organizers for very nice conference and for invitation to participate in this conference. Today I will speak about one Lithuanian treatise which was published in 1752. An anonymous book, Stebuklingo Meile, Griekininko Szirdis, prieš Jezaus kruwinos Ronus, published in 1752 in a small edition in Lithuanian language, preserved in Berlin in the Secret Archive of Russian Cultural Heritage. The Lithuanian publication is a bibliographical rarity, the only known copy having been found several years ago in this archive. In this presentation, I will talk about the attribution of the book and its relation to the German original. I also discuss in which of Gdańsk printing house this Lithuanian publication, constituting the first treatise of Herrnhutian theological thought, could have been published. The publication is adorned with splendid ornaments, and a specific print was used for the composition of the text in Lithuanian. The publication Stebuklingo Meile wargingo Griekininko has only 28 pages. It consists of 2 hymns without music notation. The first one with 12 strophe Ar šis ne aukščiausio sūnus, and another 17 strophes Kristaus kraujas and ir teisybė. Future here is treatise in German, Passionspredigt, created on the basis of the Gospel according to John chapter 20, verse 20. The publication has no foreword. It is edited anonymously without any indication of the author and translator. The publication is in Gothic typeface style, format in duodecimo. Lithuanian book is without hardcover, decorated with splendid vignettes. It's remarkable to point out that the publication is accompanied by the German archival documents, letters, written between 1752 and 1767. The letters inform King of Prussia and members of royal consistory in Königsberg about their circumstance of the appearance of the Lithuanian publication, as well as providing a critical view of the newly published work. Lithuanian publication is called in these documents Herrnhutische kleine Pizza. It says in these documents that it consists of the treatise translated into Lithuanian with 2 Moravian hymns. It was published in Gdańsk. The documents mention Johann Albrecht Gedun, who was the vice senator of Tilsit city, who distributed books to the Lithuanian-speaking inhabitants in East Prussia, Prussia, Lithuania. It also noticed that the treatise discredit Lutheran teaching and should be banned from distribution. This treatise, printed in 1752, was seen and briefly described by the German historian Walter Hubbard in his monography Geschichte der Evangelischen Kirche Ostpreußens. In this research, Hubbard mentioned that the Lithuanian treatise was translated into Lithuania by the Evangelic Lutheran priest Schimmelpfennig from Papelkin and published in Danzig. Question: from which German source could the treatise have been translated into Lithuanian language? The comparative analysis shows that the book was translated from the German source called Die erstaunliche Verliebtheit eines armen Sünderherzens gegen die blutigen Wunden Jesu. Its author is nobleman Count Ludwig von Zinzendorf. He was one of the most colorful and intriguing figures of the history of 18th century German pietism, the founder of a religious community, Herrnhutian Brudergemeine, the author of the hymns, treatises, litanies, and sermons, and the organizer of the international missions. Based on the dictionaries of Wilhelm Heinsius and Johann Georg Meusel, and the Metzler book catalog, the fifth edition of Count Zinzendorf's book Die erstaunliche Verliebtheit eines armen Sündenherzens was first published in 1751, and the second edition is in 1752. It should be noted that the Lithuanian translation appeared shortly after original was published in Görlitz at the printing house of Christian Gottfried Marche during the lifetime of Count Zinzendorf. Zinzendorf's religious treatise is a very emotional and sensual work permeated with mystical imagery. The text declares theological positions characterized by Christocentrism. The author focused on the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and the motives of suffering. Zinzendorf highlighted the cult of the wounds, plurals of Christ, stressing the significance of these religious symbols for individual pastoral care necessary for believers' renewal and spiritual awakening. The treatise especially adored Jesus' wounds and wounded side. The word wounds in Lithuania, žaizdos or Ronus, is most prolific in the treatise, appearing more than 90 times in this translation. The text is characterized by allegorical language. Is explained here that wounds are like home, a place where you can live, eat, sleep, keep awake, and work. Such a depiction must have implied a rather close and intimate relationship with Christ. It should be noted that the language of the publication would be unacceptable and quite shocked to a modern reader. It should be said that the emotional expression of Zinzendorf's religious thought was embraced and accepted by the religious community and emerged as a central theme of the religious devotion of the Moravian movement. The next question is on what linguistic principles was this treatise drafted? This publication distinguished from the other Prussian-Lithuanian writings of that time when we speak about orthography. The work is printed with a very modest inventory of diacritic marks. The graphemes with diacritical marks denoted specific phonemes of the Lithuanian language. The translation does not contain the digraph U, common in Prussian-Lithuanian writings of the time. There are only a few graphemes with diacritical marks in the work. A, E, O, U, Ž. Diacritical marks are not used throughout the text and are not always used as intended. They are particularly noticeable when reading the text. This is because the typesetter has used different size and styles of characters, except Ž. The specific Lithuanian vowel E is not distinguished by the diacritics from E. Both are realized by the same grapheme E. There are typographical errors in the print, and quite a lot. The typesetter misunderstood the Lithuanian words and used the wrong letters. It's likely that the Lithuanian treatise was not reread after printing to correct errors left by typesetters. Both the documents from 1756 and, according to the historian Hubert Zinzendorf, the religious treatise translation into Lithuanian was printed in Gdańsk, nowadays Gdańsk. We can discuss in which printing house in Gdańsk might have printed the Lithuanian edition. During this period, several printing houses were active in Gdańsk. The offices of Gottfried Hartmann, Georg Markus Knoch, and Thomas Jan Schreiber. I raise the hypothesis that the Lithuanian edition have been printed in house of Thomas Jan Schreiber. So here you can see all these ornaments which is in Lithuanian treatise. So what arguments should be used to support this hypothesis? The Lithuanian publication is based on the principles of book decoration of the time. It's decorated with various vignettes. For example, the title page of the book is decorated with vignette made up of separate elements, a crown, floral motifs, and intertwined lines. The Lithuanian book is also adorned with splendid large ornaments of land composition. These ornaments are used as a headpiece before the text and as a tailpiece at the end of the text. The book decoration elements discussed above were also used by Schreiber, so you can compare element in Lithuanian treatise and element the same in the book which was published in Schreiber publishing house. There are more. Is this book published in Schreiber printing house, and here the same in Lithuanian treatise. For example, vignettes of Lore compositions were used in Schreiber's books published in German and Latin in 1748 and 1747. Small ornaments which were composed in various compositions as headpieces or tailpiece are also found in several Schreiber's books. It's a crown, the branches of a plant, and the intertwined lines and stars. It should be noted that some of small elements were also used by other printers. For example, concrete, the crown and stars were also specifically used to decorate books by the printer Hartmann Gottfried in a similar period. Conclusion. In Berlin, in the secret archive of Prussian cultural heritage, a small Lithuanian work, Stebuklingo Meile, Vargingo Griekininko Szirdis, was found, published in 1752 in an anonymous printing house. It is a unique print not registered in Lithuanian bibliographical publications until now, a translation into Lithuanian of a theological work, Die erstaunliche Verliebtheit eines armen Sünder Herzen gegen die blutige Wunden Jesu, published in 1751, and another edition in 1752 by the leader of the Moravian movement, Count Nikolaus Ludwig von Zinzendorf. The archival documents what are stored with the work and statements made by the German historian Walter Hubbard indicate that the Lithuanian translation was published in Gdańsk. It notes that the work discredits evangelic Lutheran teaching and should be banned from distribution. The book consists of a theological treatise on the crucifixion of Christ based on the Gospel of John, chapter 20. The book does not follow the orthography principles, more or less followed by 18th century Prussian Lithuanian writers and printers. In the 18th century, considerable attention was paid to the quality of orthography and translation of the Lithuanian writings. I raise a hypothesis that Schreiber, printed in Danzig, nowadays Gdańsk, may have been printed the first treatise of Herrnhutian theological thought. Schreiber printing house used the same elements of the book decoration and which were used to decorate the Lithuanian book. And the last statement, this is the first book published in Lithuanian language in Danzig in the 18th century. Thank you very much.